A woman posted this in the marriage subreddit. She titled this one, Every Man Would Agree. So she's 40 and her husband is 45. She says, I've been with my husband for 20 years and we have 4 kids. We've had a rocky relationship. Things have always felt pretty imbalanced, but leaving all of that to the side for the purpose of this post. The relevant background here, I guess, is that we never go out. We have 4 kids. Money is tight. And my husband is not exactly the thoughtful type. He didn't even do anything for my 40th birthday this year, despite me telling him exactly what I wanted: a cake, my kids to sing happy birthday, and a yoga mat. Not exactly the crown jewels. So, he got some free tickets to see an NFL game. We're both fans of the team, though he is admittedly much more dedicated than I am, watches the games every week, etc. When he told me about the tickets, he said if I did not want to go, he would take his uncle. I immediately said, I want to go. I want to go. We never go out. This would be fun. We've never been to a game together, and I want to go. That was maybe 2 weeks ago. We have to figure out a sitter, but the game isn't until December, so we have some time. Yesterday at our kids' soccer game, I overheard him on the phone inviting his uncle to the game. I asked him about it. He confirms, yes, I just invited uncle instead. I was pissed and told him so. He said, well, FAB, and that literally means FAB. You got to look at the screen. He's using cuss words like forget a B word. She says, I'm ready to get a divorce. Honestly, this is just the straw that broke the camel's back type of situation. I'm just ready to leave. No convincing needed. But what I'm wondering is, he is insisting that any man would have done the same. Any man would understand that he would rather go with his uncle who appreciates the game more. I'm somehow being dramatic and emotional for even being upset about it. So, thoughts here. Would any man have done the same? Update to clarify. These tickets were not a birthday gift or related to my birthday. He did not get me anything for my birthday. Tickets are unrelated. I included the mess about my birthday because it is a recent example of how thoughtless and inconsiderate my husband can be when it comes to me. This is not an anomaly, and I'm definitely partly to blame just because I had put up with it for so damn long. She says she's been with this man for 20 years. She just turned 40. That means that she gave her all of her 20s and 30s to a man. I will continue to say, don't give your 20s to a man. Do not, because this is what happens. She says they never go out. At what point, if you are giving your 20s to a man and you get married so young, when do you do the fun things like going out, like partying, like traveling, like learning who you really are? She's at this point where she has finally reached that point where she's just like fed up with all of this. She's over it. But this is for the people that haven't yet committed to this type of thing. Stop doing this. These dudes, what we're seeing time and time again, these dudes barely care. And we're seeing it in all of these different stages, how these dudes put very little thought into dates, how they refuse to like even groom themselves. They don't even want to wash themselves properly. They won't clean up their apartments to have you like see that they can clean. I don't know. But what I'm seeing right now is these husbands barely like their wives, not celebrating your wife or even giving a cake so your kids can sing happy birthday is a slap in the face. Now, we are moving into the holiday seasons, and right now the economy is tough, groceries are high. We're going to see if any of these dudes have any kind of creativity in order to celebrate their wives in any capacity. It's going to be interesting. This year has already been very interesting. We're seeing more and more women just get fed up and get fed up quicker. And so this woman is 40. I'm seeing the 20 somethings get to this point where they're just, get someone else to do it. Now, let's check out a few of these comments. Playful Guidance says, yeah, only another a-hole husband would do this. M. Doog says, not a man, but as a woman, this would be divorce worthy, especially when this is a symptom of the larger issue. If he were planning something different for you, it might be okay, but he's not. And here's the OP saying, yeah, I mean, this one thing out of countless. And then calling me a B word when I'm hurt, like icing on the cake here. If my husband has any pet name for me, it's B word, even though I've told him hundreds of times I hate it, do not call me that. But to hear him tell it, I'm just emotional and dramatic and need to get over it. His grandfather passed right before my birthday this year, and the funeral was on my birthday. So I told him I don't want to celebrate that day. It should be about you, your family, and grandpa. But next weekend, I want a cake and my kids to sing. I want to celebrate next weekend. He always acted like he just has no idea what I want, so I've been trying to be really clear. So, does absolutely nothing either weekend and uses the excuse, but you said you didn't want to celebrate that day. Like, oh, okay, just leave out the part where I clearly said that I want to celebrate next weekend. I want a cake, I want my children to see me being celebrated. I'm just done. Now, this person, NNVXO, says it's emotional abuse and manipulation. And she says, which is funny because he called me manipulative for being upset. If he has turned things around, that is Darvo. She's upset because she asked for something specific for her birthday. Or even in this case, she specifically said, yes, I would like to go. He has changed things around to the point where he's upset that she's upset. So that is turning things around, and he is now the victim of her being upset. She's the one being manipulative. She's the one being emotional and unreasonable. So he's now the victim of that. That is DARVO. DARVO stands for Deny, Attack, and Reverse Victim Offender. NN brings in some information that wasn't put into the original post, saying, not only has he abused you, he's also cheated. You need to make a plan to leave because he's not remorseful and he's not going to change. Do what's right for yourself and your kids. Okay, so he's cheated and he sucks. Okay. All right, so yeah. So her being done makes sense. M. Doog says, of course he did. Darvo. He has to make you the wrong one. I didn't know about the cheating. I really hope you're able to build a better life. It won't be easy, but it'll be worth it, I promise. And then she says, yeah, he cheated when I was pregnant with my second child. So 8 years ago. I did think he was cheating again recently, but I found no evidence to support it. Miss Fritter says, what evidence do you need? A man that cheats on his pregnant wife is the same man who cheats on his FAB wife. Only Sleep says, get a lawyer, prepare papers, take him for everything, burn that entitled piece of poop, go for everything, including home alimony and child support. All right, so there's that. Most of the people in the comments are not agreeing with this man that every man would just take an uncle. They're not agreeing with this so far. But now, because of that person in NVXO bringing up the fact that he cheated, it made me go to her profile. A month ago, she posted in the marriage subreddit saying, I have to find out. She says, my husband cheated on me 8 years ago when I was pregnant with our second child. For context, we have now been together 22 years and have 4 kids. He says it wasn't true cheating because it was all messaging and phone calls, but I had plenty of reason to believe it also got physical, just no hard proof. We did a lot of therapy, and the thing that's always bothered me and still does is that I had to prove every single thing to get him to admit it. Had to be Nancy effing Drew over here every step of the way. At first, he swore it was only Snapchat, and he did not even know her real name. Then I showed him the Facebook messages I found. Then it was only online. He never spoke to her on the phone until I showed him the phone bill, etc. Honestly, I should have left. I had to forgive him for physical cheating, even though he has never admitted to it, because that was the only way I could move forward. Since then, things have been improving. We have a good life, 4 happy and healthy kids, and have been looking into buying a bigger house. Then his grandfather passed away last week. He got irrationally mad at me for something small and told me he hates me and is only with me for the kids. I was obviously upset, and immediately my alarm bells went off. When he was talking to this other girl, he was always mad at me about something stupid. I think it was his way of justifying talking to her. I told him how I felt, that I need transparency, etc., and he told me I was being crazy and he was just really upset over grandpa. Okay, so last night he was sick and went to bed early. When I went to bed, his phone was laying on my side of the bed, lit up, and just looking at me like, "Hey girl, you know you want to." So I snooped. When the universe calls out to me, I answer. In his recently downloaded apps was the WhatsApp and Snapchat. He wasn't logged into Snapchat, so I couldn't see anything. And honestly, I have no idea how WhatsApp even works. Last time I showed him all my cards, how I found the emails, the messages, the calls, so he knows how to cover his tracks. It's also not easy to get to his phone. I need to find incontrovertible proof before I go blowing up my kids' happy lives. I come from a fatherless, impoverished upbringing, and frankly, I am terrified of being the same for my kids. I need to know it's not just me being crazy. Yes, I know this obvious lack of trust is his own issue. I realize the fact that I cannot even trust him to be honest is a problem, but that's a problem I can accept going back to therapy and trying to fix. If he is cheating again, therapy is a non starter and I'm out the door. Any advice here? How can I find out for sure? And then she says, update. Thank you, everyone, for the insights and the support. My plan is now to gather as much information as I can, with the understanding that he is more than likely cheating. I need to know, though, so he can't just gaslight me into thinking I'm just crazy and insecure. I'm going to start getting prepared because once I know, I will be ending the marriage. I'm glad I posted here. This was helpful beyond belief. If anyone has any tips for figuring out Snapchat or WhatsApp, please let me know. He was logged out of Snapchat last night, and there was no visible history in WhatsApp, putting my Nancy Drew hat back on. So there she is having to be Nancy Drew because her husband has no integrity and isn't trustworthy. At what point are women just going to leave these people alone that don't like them? So, like I said, I went back a month, and so the reason why she did that update is because people in her comments must have been saying, "Girl, what are you doing? If you have to do all of this, leave this person alone." So that's that, and basically, yeah, she just needs to leave this person alone. But y'all go ahead and chime in and let me know what you think.